So underdogs have a slight edge over the favorites through the tournament so far as they're 4 games over 500, and that doesn't mean a damn thing going into today's games. Hi everyone, Al DeMarco here, and this is going to be your Saturday video report. I've got a complimentary play coming up on the early game between Gonzaga and South Carolina, as I feel the best bet is actually the North Carolina-Oregon contest. And before I get to that, a couple of quick reminders for you and a quick little story. Happened to be reading today in the Vegas Review-Journal that there was a bettor at the William Hill Sportsbooks chain out in Vegas who bet $7,000 to take a $100 money line win on Connecticut last night in the semifinal game against Mississippi State. And of course, Mississippi State pulled off the dramatic upset, snapping UConn's 111-game winning streak. What a moron play. I mean, think about this. Okay. And a lot of people, some people out there will say, well, hey, if you had the money, it's called the power of money. You can go ahead and use that money and you can pick up little winnings because they had won 111 straight games. Okay. Let's think about that. In order to, let's say, build that mythical $7,000 bankroll, how many money line wagers would you have needed to win in order to accomplish that, considering that Connecticut before winning 111 straight games, had to have a winning streak of 40 games before you jumped on the bandwagon? I mean, what do people think? Seriously, they should have went to 7-Eleven and just, bought hundreds of dollars worth of lottery tickets. They would have had a better shot at winning some money. $7,000 on a money line play to win 100. Crazy. Hey, listen, guys, this is Saturday, and every Saturday I always give you a money-saving discount coupon code that could potentially save you hundreds of dollars off your total purchase price. But today that coupon code is a little different because today is going to be the single biggest discount that is available from now through the beginning of the NBA playoffs. And that coupon code is 28%, 28%. I make it available to you now because I know some of you will now disappear. I don't know why. Because it's easy to make money in the NBA playoffs, and you've got the easiest sport of them all coming up in baseball to make money. So this is your incentive, 28% off your total purchase price. That's a mix and match coupon, good for any combination of handicappers, picks, and or packages. The only stipulation, it's a one-time usage coupon, which means you've got to put everything in your shopping cart at one time before you make your purchase. And remember, if you happen to have a long-term package with a particular handicapper, let's say Jack Brayman, and you have 10 days left, well, guys, you can use this coupon, extend that package out, let's say, another 30 days, get the 28% discount, get any applicable instant rebates as well. And instead of 10 days, you'll have 40 days left on your package. If you have any questions, you can contact customer service. And now, of course, my speech about baseball, which is right around the corner. Listen, it's the easiest sport to make money on. It's the sport that most handicappers shy away from because they're lazy. Most guys will simply hang up the gone fishing sign on the door and they take off. And I understand. It's a long year. I'm in it for the long run. I know how much money I can make in baseball. I know it's the easiest sport to make money. I know that I've made money in baseball 13 of the last 16 years. Long before I got into this business professionally, I was making money. Why? Because it's repetition, it's consistency, there's patterns that develop because you have teams that are playing a minimum of 6 games a week. You have pitchers that you can count on going every 4 to 5 days. And you can notice the patterns of teams that are in hitting slumps or not. Now, the other beautiful thing about baseball is it gives you so many opportunities to get your money back should you hit a bump in the road because it's an everyday sport. Again, it's the easiest sport to make money on. But a lot of guys just shy away because in this business, they're lazy and gamblers because they just don't realize how easy it is to make money. I think the most important thing, if you're out there and you're handicapping baseball on your own, what you have to be aware of is the final 3 weeks of spring training play. Forget about what happened the first 3 weeks. It means absolutely nothing. You've got to be able to look at the starting pitchers and see how they performed in their final 3 starts of the spring. When they were airing out their arms, they were going at least 4 innings. When they were facing major league hitters, not a lot of lineups that were peppered with guys that were destined to be cut or sent back to Double and Triple A. No, you're looking at the real rosters. Really, I look most at the last 2 starts. And then you can't just look at the body of work. You can't look at pitcher number, Joe Blow out there, who may have had a 2.38 earned run average, but in his final tune-up of the spring, he was shellacked for 7 runs in 2 innings. Hey, that's a red flag. because generally good and bad things come in threes. I've always believed in baseball. And when a guy has a bad outing, there's usually another one right around the corner. When a guy has a good outing, sometimes that is also the beginning of a nice little streak. So you can't just look at the overall spring numbers. And again, you have to remember those spring numbers were often accomplished again and compiled would be the better word against guys that aren't even going to be destined to be in the major leagues. When you look at teams coming out of spring training and look at their overall record, means nothing except what they've done the last 2.5 weeks of spring training, when again they were playing top teams with top players that were definitely going to be in the majors against top pitchers. Same thing with teams that are hitting the ball or not. If teams coming out of Florida are in a slump offensively, well, geez, when they come north, or in some cases when they don't, when they just kind of go sideways, it's not going to make their bats suddenly come alive. So there's a lot of things that go into it, but that's what I do for a living. Okay, let's talk about this particular game here. Again, as I said, underdogs are 4 games over 500 so far in the tournament, but I don't think the underdog is the way to go here with South Carolina. No, I like Gonzaga in this one. You know, I use a lot of different statistical analysis sites. My favorite happens to be kenpom.com. I mean, there's a lot of junk there that is absolutely meaningless. But, you know, when you look at how he breaks down some of the statistics there, you know, it's kind of interesting that Gonzaga is his number 1 defensive team in the nation. But here's the more important thing. This is a Gonzaga team that in the tournament is only allowing 59 points a game. They're holding opponents in the tournament to 33.7% shooting. Now, that is on par with what the Cougars did all through the regular season. In fact, they're holding opponents to 2.5 less points during the postseason, and they're holding them to 3 percentage points less from the field. And their 3-point defense, it's 6 points better. 6 points better. That's how good their perimeter defense is 3-pointers. Well, they're only hitting at a 24.1% clip against Gonzaga so far in the postseason. You know they're a good rebounding team. Their rebounding margin, which is another statistic, I love looking at the NCAA stats. You know, their rebound margin is 7.2. Well, you know, South Carolina pales in comparison. It's down in the 1 area. This is a team that shut down Xavier's top scorer to reach this round of 4 in the regional semifinals. Yes, South Carolina's had a hell of a run, beating up Marquette and upsetting Duke. Of course, those games were played in Greenville, only 104 miles from its campus in Columbia. And then, yes, it took care of Baylor, but I never was impressed with the Bears this season at all. Now, and then, yes, they did come up with that big win against Florida in the rubber match between the series. And Gators could have won it, should have won it, didn't win it. That's the bottom line. But I still like Gonzaga in this particular game because of their defense, because of their ability to rebound, because they're going to get so many more opportunities at second chance points. When I saw the story that Sindarius Thornwell, a guy who I've talked about many times this season, a guy who was the heart and soul of the South Carolina team, not only offensively, but defensively as well, when I saw that he didn't practice on Thursday because he had, flu-like symptoms. But yes, he returned to practice on Friday. And in my mind, I'm going, geez, if you're not well enough to practice on Thursday, how healthy are you going to be today, considering the type of defensive effort the Gamecocks are going to need from you and the type of offensive effort they're going to need from you as well? Am I worried that this is a big number for Gonzaga to cover, considering that prior to the Xavier game, the Bulldogs haven't done, or the Cougars haven't done a damn thing so far in the tournament in terms of making you money? I go back to the Northwestern game when they had the double-digit lead and then all the costly turnovers almost cost them the straight-up win, let alone the cover. I go back to the South Dakota State game when, they held the Jackrabbits to 31 points under their season average, but they were down 2 points late in the first half in that game, and they played, so poorly in that contest. But then I go and I think about Gonzaga, and I think about, this is a team that beat Florida, beat Iowa State, beat Arizona, beat St. Mary's 3 times this season. Those are all tournament teams. And listen, when they beat Arizona, Florida, and Iowa State, and one of those games against St. Mary, 2 of those times against St. Mary's, they weren't games that were being played in Spokane. Today's games being played at a football stadium. So I think that you're going to see teams struggle today with the shooting percentage because of the depth perception involved with shooting in a cavernous arena for TV purposes and because of the lights. I think that's just a foregone conclusion. It's something I always factor in. And I think that also benefits a team like Gonzaga that wasn't exactly shooting the hell out of the ball, but it will work against the South Carolina team that has shot so much better in the postseason than did in the regular season. 2-point field goals. South Carolina during the regular season was like a 44% shooting team. In the postseason, they're hitting it at almost a 54% clip. Now, listen, we deal with odds. Statistically speaking, which do you think is going to carry through? Especially playing, again, in a cavernous football stadium where shooting is always going to be affected. Again, I think Gonzaga is going to be the play here. I like them minus the points. Not nearly, of course, as much as I like the game between Oregon and North Carolina, which is why it's my best bet selection. Oh, quick props going out to Chris Jordan. Hit an ultra-rare 2,000-star double your wager play, which you got as the half-price play yesterday. Just about everybody here on the company on Texas A&M Corpus Christi last night, plus the points. Losing at home, unfortunately, for the Highlanders as a 3.5 to 4 point dog and a 1 point loss to St. Peter's, but getting everybody to cover. And pretty much everybody last night had Wyoming as well in the college basketball insider best of 3 rubber game match against Coastal Carolina. I think the only loser with that game was probably Trace Adams. Just about everybody else had Coastal Carolina. So good night. Or had Wyoming, excuse me. So pretty good night Friday to set the stage for this Saturday card. I wish you well, guys. Talk to you again tomorrow when we do this one more time.